Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from Eduard. This is a Profipack kit in 1/48 scale, and this time it copies BF 109G-2, so it's a German World War II fighter aircraft, and we have a commercial sample here, so it means you will get exactly the same stuff as what you will see in this nice box, and we are going to open it together with you in the video review and check what is actually supplied in this beautiful box. So first of all, we get this kit in a new design. As you can see, we have the brass line here and black line here, and we also you can see that box art is slightly different from what we are used to get on Eduard kits, because I guess this one was created by Piotr Farkasiewicz, but I might be wrong. So here on the side we also have some information about the kit and address of the manufacturer. It's a kit number 82165. And on this side we have 5 marking options which are included into this kit. So camouflages are quite, I would say, colorful, because as you can see we have 2 winter marking options and 1 African and another one from Soviet Union, but we will talk more about them when we will be checking an assembly manual. This is a top opening box, and here's what we have inside. So all frames are packed into plastic bags. I can see that there are 3 plastic bags which separate these frames, so we will be checking them one by one. And of course, let me remind you that you can support us financially. We have a special support DSV button on our website. So if you would like to do a small donation via PayPal, press this button, choose the amount, and all this money will be used in order to improve photo and video quality, or maybe get some interesting kits to be reviewed in our videos, because it's also quite a good thing. And I hope you remember that some of the recent reviews were actually made with your help. Johan, Nikki, and Camille, and also some other guys, they were helping us to get some really special kits. So here you can see first clear plastic frame. It is packed into separate plastic bags, so we are going to zoom in as much as we can. It's not that huge, as you can notice. Here we have canopy parts. We also have some of the interior parts. So for example, you can see fuel line and target side, and also some of the armor panel. Give me a second to remove the dust from here. Of course, Canopy is assembled out of several parts, which is really cool because you can open it, and I think it's a really important feature in a 1/48 scale set, so it will definitely come handy in your build. And overall molding quality is nice. Let's not forget that this is a Profipack kit, so we have masks included out of the box, so there is nothing to worry about. Next we continue with the first gray plastic sprue. First I zoom out so that you can check whole frame. Here we have wing parts. So we have 2 wing halves and 1 bottom part. Note that air intakes and wheel wells are molded separately. All wing mechanization parts are also separate. So if I zoom into this top part, here you can see that we have nice rivets and recessed panel lines pre-molded. They look really good, so it's just a matter of bringing them out on your model, and in 1/48 scale such features will be noticeable. The same can be said about these top panels, and note that, for example, this part, it is pre-molded together with a pitot tube, so be sure not to break it off. And as I said, wing mechanization is molded separately, but also another interesting thing is that wing edges will be serving as a guiding elements, even though we also have guiding pins inside, so it will be quite easy to align these large parts together. And I really doubt that you will have any issues in such process. It's just a matter of careful combination together and applying some glue, maybe a bit of sanding, because we have leading edges finished in a classic style, but that's pretty much all you should be worried about. Next we continue with the fuselage halves. So they are supplied on the second plastic sprue. Here we have classic design as well, so it means both halves are molded together with the tail fin. We have pre-molded cowling cover here, and of course recessed panel lines and rivets are also present. It would be strange not to see them here and to get them on the wing parts. Here you can check everything with your own eyes. and attachment points are also thin, so it should be easy to separate these parts. Rudder is molded separately. And what is also interesting is that we have this top cooling cover pre-molded, so you will have to be careful in this area, maybe sand it carefully somehow in order not to erase all these nice features on the cooling. Inside we have some minor cockpit features, and they will be enhanced with separately molded parts, and there is also PE included, so they will go, some metal parts will go inside cockpit as well. And here you can see the tail section. Note that, for example, here we have some alternative types of the tail fin which shouldn't be used as far as I remember, but here you can notice that they have some guiding elements. We also have this cowling bulges, and here we have separate rudder which is molded as a single piece part, so at least this part will be without any possible seams or gaps between two halves. Next, we have slightly bigger plastic bag, so here it is. I will open it right now because here we have two last gray plastic sprues which carry a mix of various parts, and I think it will be quite familiar to some of you if you already have experience with BF109 kits from Eduard, especially with the G version. So here we continue with the Sprue, which is notably bigger than what we saw before, and here we have a mix of parts, as I said before. So for example, here you can see cockpit floor, 3 types of propeller, landing gear wheels, bombs, some parts for the landing gear wheel wells. Here we have landing gear legs, and let's zoom in so that you can understand what I'm talking about, because it's better to see everything closer. So here, for example, the most interesting feature is that we get 2 types of the instrument panel. So you have one with pre-molded dials and one plain. Obviously this one will be useful maybe for decals, but mostly for some dry brushing, and this one will be useful for decals and also for PE parts which can be applied here, or you can go straight away for the so-called space line. I think it wasn't space, it was the... I forgot the name. I always forget the name. So the brushing dashboard, which is pre-painted, and you can install it instead of these 2 parts, and this will speed up the process and make the overall appearance a bit more let's say realistic looking. Here we have landing gear covers. Next we continue with propellers, so 3 types of propellers, and obviously only one will be used, but note that attachment points are placed in a convenient spots, so it will be quite easy to separate them. Here we continue with the bomb rack, and next we have some landing gear wheel rims, control stick, some other parts for the cockpit, and even rudder pedals are here, but I guess they won't be used because we have PE parts. Next we have landing gear wheels. This can be also replaced with the brushing set, which is sold separately, so if you would like to get even better appearance, definitely consider it, but in my opinion they should be okay for out of the box build. Even for some detailed builds they are completely fine because they feature some details on the tire walls. Here we continue with a fuel tank and bomb. Here we have more bombs and some landing gear wheel well parts, and here you can see landing gear legs. So as for the landing gear legs, you can replace them with the bronze set, which is sold separately. That's a really beautiful product, and I recommend to check it out because it might be handy in case you plan to use a lot of resin parts, because it will endure a bigger load on the landing gear legs, let's say. Next we continue with the last gray plastic sprue, so this one is dedicated again to mix of, I would say, mostly external parts, because for example here you can see air intake parts, we have fuel tank, we have elevators, and also tail wing halves. Here 2 parts and here 2 other parts, rudder versions. Next we continue with flaps, and also here we have machine gun barrels and ailerons, some parts for the tail landing gear leg and tail landing gear wheel, and also here we have cooling air intake, which will be placed from the side. As you remember, it is molded separately, so that's why you have to combine these 2 parts together. And yes, it should be glued out of 2 halves, so you can't avoid this. Next we continue with PE thread. This is a Profipack kit, so there is no surprise that we get some PE parts included. Here it is. So it is a pre-painted PE thread. Let's zoom in. Here you can see that we have, I would say, quite useful set of parts, because we have not only cockpit parts but also some external elements such as meshes for air intakes. And I think we also have, no, we do not have, surprisingly. So there is no glazing on the dials, even though this is already a modern kit. As you can see, they're completely plain, so I wonder why, but note also the year 2017, so maybe that's why. But still, it is a really cool addition which you get out of the box. You don't have to pay anything extra, and some others will be happy to hear it. Next, we have one more separate plastic bag. Here we have mask sheet. So masks are pre-cut, and you will be able to get these stickers on the Canopy. Also, I can see that they will be used for some fuselage parts and also for landing gear wheel. I guess that's for the tail landing gear. We also have separate plastic bag with decals. So again, I'm going to open it right now. And Eduard provides 2 decal sheets. Obviously both are printed in Eduard, and I will show you one here. So this is a, let's call it a main decal sheet, because here we have all necessary symbols for several marking options. Maybe I'll close the camera a bit. And printing quality is really nice. We have some decals for the cockpit, but I really wonder why you would use decals instead of PE parts. So do not be lazy, apply PE parts and avoid using decals in the cockpit in case you have the standard PE parts. Next, we have second decal sheet. I will show it closer because it's smaller than the previous one. Here we have various stencils. Again, it is printed in Eduard, and note the date 2014. This is really funny and it makes me feel old. But anyway, printing quality is really good. And next we have assembly manual. So this one is printed in a typical Eduard format. So let's zoom out a bit. Here on the first page, or on the cover if you prefer, we have a short history note about the real aircraft, and here we have a small picture of with the same peak as on the box art. Next we continue with the parts map. So Eduard shows unused parts, and you can see blue color actually means that these parts will stay in your spare parts box. Assembly process starts with the cockpit. So as I said, you have a choice between using PE parts or not using them, but as I said again, it's strange not to use them when they're given in the standard package. Here we continue with the instrument panel. Next, we install cockpit between fuselage halves, and note that these exhaust stacks, which they will be installed from inside, so you will have to paint them somehow and then mask, or maybe to do some masking around and then paint them while installed on the fuselage. Next, we also have some assembly options. I guess these ones will be dependent on the marking option you choose. Here we have the tail fairings installed. It means the tail wing and elevator and rudder. And these masks were actually for the guiding or positioning lights on the wing. As you can see, they will be properly I would say segmenting this area so that you can paint it easily. And here we assemble wing, so you have to assemble the main wheel well, as you remember, and then install top wing halves. You join wing together with the fuselage, then you start with the wing mechanization and wing air intake, where, by the way, we use PE parts for the meshes, and that will actually add some fine touch to this aircraft, because these meshes will be visible even on the finished model. Next, we continue with more wing mechanization parts. Here we have some landing gear parts. Note that this landing gear cover will have to be cut off for the marking D, which is really interesting. Next, we install target sight and canopy parts. Here you have to decide whether you would like to have open or closed canopy, and note that there are some minor features which are suitable only for the marking A. So you assemble propeller, install it into the place, and you also have a choice of installing this external gun gondolas on the wings, but it's for 4 markings only. Here we have mask guide, so it's applicable for canopy parts. And note that even inside they will be used, and they are also applicable for the tail landing gear. Next, here we have first marking option. It's from Egypt, November 1942. And here we continue with another one from February 1943 from Finland. Here we have one more from Soviet Union, October 1942. What is next? Here is another winter aircraft from Soviet Union, January 1943, winter camouflage Grünherz. And here we have another aircraft from Egypt, October 1942. So as you remember, this one has cut off landing gear covers, which makes it a bit more unusual in my opinion. And on the last page we have stenciling guide for the same kit for all aircraft markings which are included into this kit. So all in all, we have quite attractive Profipack set from Eduard, and it should be already available, so if you would like to get it, just go to the Eduard website and order it there. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about such release. Do not forget to write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye!